Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to a special pre-release review for the brand new Enuff Z'Nuff Xtra Cherries. This is their 18th studio album, but if you're a fan like me, then you know that they actually have 26 different albums under their name, some live, some compilations, some covers, albums, and whatnot. But we're talking about a brand new studio album here, their 18th out on Cleopatra Records. Thank you to them for sending it in advance so that I can review it for you guys. It's coming out on July 25th of 2025, and we're going to get into it here, break it all down, and do a full review and unboxing of this album. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. Of course, I want to hear from you about this album, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything and get to find out about cool pre-release reviews like this with Enuff Z'Nuff and their new album, Xtra Cherries. But before we dive into that, I want to jump back in the history of the band because they formed in '84, and we know by the core members Donnie V on guitar and vocals and Chip Z'Nuff on bass and vocals. And in 1989, they released their debut album, the self-titled release on Atco Records, which of course has their two biggest hits on here, Fly High Michelle and New Thing. And then in 1991, they followed up, which my favorite album in here, Strength, their second studio album. This one here bringing off two more radio hits, Mother's Eyes and Baby Loves You. But their third studio album, Animals with Human Intelligence, they actually moved to a different label, Arista Records. And I think these three albums are really good classic era glam metal albums that just are highly underrated. And I know that's up for debate too, whether they're considered glam metal or not, but that's at least how I classify them. And over their 41-year history, the band has never broken up. They've continued going. It's always been Donnie and Chip at the helm until, unfortunately, in 2013 when Donnie left for the second time. And that really caused the biggest shakeup within the band. The thing is, though, Chip still at the helm of everything. And starting with Diamond Boy in 2018, we've got Chip running the show, taking over lead vocals, and he does it on Brainwash Generation from 2020, Hard Rock Night from 2021, which is a cool Beatles covers album, and Finer Than Sin, their last studio album from 2022, which was really, really quite good. Now, the four of these that I just showed you guys virtually have the same lineup on it, where we've got Chip Z'Nuff on bass and vocals, Troy Stoffergren, hope I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, on guitar, Tony Fennell on guitar, and Daniel Hill on drums. But for this new album, Xtra Cherries, we've got a new lineup on here. We've got Chip Z'Nuff, bass and vocals, been there since '84. Jason Camino on guitar, coming in 2023. Lewis Colley on guitar, 2025. And Dax Nielsen, newest member, drums, also 2025, and he's the son of Rick Nielsen, and there's a whole other bunch of connections between the Cheap Trick band and Enuff Z'Nuff, but certainly interesting how all that stuff comes full circle sometimes. So effectively with this album here, the band is starting sort of a third era for them. I don't know how long this lineup will last or not, but we've got them on here, and let's break all of that down now. So, as I mentioned, this is a Cleopatra Records release. It's their 18th studio album, but it's actually their fifth one without Donnie V. So Chip is handling all the vocals on here. We've got 11 songs, clocking in at 51 minutes. It's just right, in my opinion. Sometimes those albums that were the 60-plus minute ones, in my opinion, would run too long. So I like the 45, 50-minute kind of album. I think that's always just the right amount. You want to leave the person wanting more, so they start the album over. Now, in terms of song breakdown on here, there's 2 cover songs, 9 originals, and those 9 originals have 3 co-writes with Donnie V, and one of them re-recorded from their 2003 album, Welcome to Blue Island. So there's one song on here, Sanibel Island, that they re-record for this album. Now, this has been promoted from the album, and part of the reason it's called the Xtra Cherries thing, or they're referencing it at least, is that there's a lot of guests on this album, and I don't know if there's any sort of thing that was set out to let's get as many different guests as we can, or it just developed and that's how it's being promoted, but certainly being talked about. And on the back side of the CD, it says, who's guesting on the tracks. So we've got those Xtra Cherries on here: Robin Zander from Cheap Trick, Neil Schon from Journey, Steve Stevens from Billy Idol Band, Steve Brown from Trickster, Gunnar Nelson from the Nelson Band, Steven Adler, former drummer for Guns N' Roses, and even Robert Fleischman, the original vocalist of Journey, is on here as well. And then we've got original members Donnie V and Derek Frigo on here as well. So typical with a number of the Enuff Z'Nuff albums, they're made up from previous recordings or unreleased tracks that have been dusted off and finished off for the release of this, being added to it. And I assume some of that might be happening here. I don't know to what degree and how much, but lots of artists work that ways, have things in vaults, dust them off and finish it off at the right time for the right album when they think that's where it should be. And I think we got some of that happening on here. The reason I say it is we've got tracks where the inclusion of Donnie V, who's not a member of the band, I don't know that he returned to record any of this or do this. I think this is stuff that was in the vault. We've also got the original guitar player, Derek Frigo, on here, who passed away in 2004. So obviously he can't be coming in and doing that now. It must have been stuff that was sitting within the vault. But regardless of the covers, the re-recorded songs, the dusted off songs that are on here, the brand newly written songs that are on here, I think the album sounds great. It's one of the best sounding of the last 4, or including this 5 albums that we've had Chip at the helm. I just think that each of these albums that he has put out has gone from strength to strength to strength. And definitely by the last album, Finer Than Sin, and including this newest one, Xtra Cherries, I think it finally has that sound, feel, everything that we love about Enuff Z'Nuff is there, and I don't really feel like anything is missing anymore. And I've enjoyed the band, all the ups and downs and different eras and lineups and things, and even though we've got a new one on here, a new lineup, I think this album has those hallmarks and things that make it an Enuff Z'Nuff album. So let's go ahead and talk about standout songs on here. I want to start with track number 2, No Cold Feelings, a typical Enuff Z'Nuff sounding rocker. It's written by Chip Z'Nuff and Steve Brown of Trickster. It's cool that he's coming in. Remember, Steve Brown also co-wrote an album with Ace Frehley, formerly of Kiss, right? So he's been going around doing that sort of thing. And I hear there's a new Trickster album on its way, so we can look forward to that eventually. Steve also plays guitar on this one, which I think really elevates it, adding, something extra to the overall recording of the track. Then we've got track number 3 that's on here, and that's Sanibel Island, the one I was just talking about, that came off of Welcome to Blue Island in 2003. And personally, I think it's the best track on the album, but that might be because I've been listening to it for 22 years since getting that album originally, which was their 10th studio album at the time. It's also the last one that Derek Frigo played on before his passing in 2004. So if you've never checked out Welcome to Blue Island, definitely do that. But it's interesting that neither Donnie nor Derek appear on that song. So you might have thought, well, that's how they're appearing, grab an old track from an old album, but that's not the case here. In fact, no one's guesting on this track. This is just listed as an Enuff Z'Nuff track on here, but it is so good. I'm enjoying it, and when it pops on, I just get a grin from ear to ear on my face hearing that song. So it's nice they put it on. I'd love to hear from Chip as to why they chose to re-record it out of all the catalog songs they could do. Fantastic song that it is. Maybe he just felt it didn't get enough love at the time and it needed some new light shown on it, and so it's appearing on this album now. Another great track on here is track number 5, Magnificent, probably the most rockin' song on the album. It's got a killer riff and a cool groove to it. It's written by Chip Z'Nuff, and we've got guitarist Steve Stevens from the Billy Idol Band guesting. He's got a very distinctive guitar sound, and it's fun hearing it on this track. Track number 8, I have to look at my fingers, make sure I'm holding up the right number for you guys. You Make Me Wonder Why. Great slow grooving rock song on here. Out of all the ones that are on here, not including Sanibel Island and what I consider to be a re-recorded or older track, of what I would think is newer, something I've never heard. This is my favorite from the album. It's written by Xtra Cherries. We got two guests on here, Robin Zander of Cheap Trick, and this one has Derek Frigo on it. And his soloing on here makes it like we're sitting in 1991. This song easily could have appeared on the Strength album. Again, Derek has a very distinctive guitar sound. So I don't know if the song goes that far back or they pulled the solo from a demo and added it or what they did. But definitely check out track number 8, You Make Me Wonder Why. It's just a very cool song. Like I said, could have easily been on the Strength album in 1991. Okay, and another interesting one, and I'm out of fingers because I need an 11th. 10-1. Okay, Shine. Check out track number 11. It's a beautiful Beatlesque rock style song. You know, lots of the Enuff Z'Nuff songs have that Beatlesque flavor. The same way Cheap Trick does things like that on their albums. So this one here, written by Chip Z'Nuff and Donnie V, Neil Schon from Journey, and Robert Fleischman, the original vocalist of Journey. Now, how all that came to be, I have no idea. And we've got them guesting on it. Robert Fleischman, Neil Schon is guesting on this as well. And just another story I would love to hear. Maybe I can get Chip Z'Nuff on the channel to answer some of these questions for all of us, as we'd love to know more and more about our favorite bands. But let's take a look at this. So this is the front cover, and in fine fashion with Enuff Z'Nuff album covers, I think this one hits the mark. I also just love the classic logo on it. Let's play that up. And we got the back side with the 4 guys from the band, track listing, and it tells you who all those guests are. And of course, you notice it's in a jewel case. And I'm just absolutely loving how we're getting back to more and more jewel cases these days. Here we go on the inside of it. You know, great band shot there with the listing of who's playing, the CD itself. And if I pop that out, we got some Splash and Cherries on the underside. And then the booklet of this thing, it's only 3 pages, but it's well done. We have the song lyrics on the inside like that. We have some more information about who plays on things. And then when I flip it over, what you already saw, the band information. But good amount of photos, cover information, all that sort of stuff. So well done on the packaging. Overall, I have to say, from the band and or Cleopatra, whoever puts this stuff together, I am very happy with that. So bottom line, where do I stand on this album? So Chip Z'Nuff is at the helm. I'm good with that. He's handling all lead vocals in fine fashion. And yes, you know, we all miss Donnie V, and we'd like to have Donnie V back, but I am quite enjoying this new era that has produced 5 albums. You know, there was a long period of time where the band was not recording anything new and, you know, just doing touring, and Donnie was coming and going. But now that Chip is at the helm, the band has got some real forward momentum, and I have enjoyed the last 4. I'm really enjoying this album here. As I mentioned, this one here's got all the hallmarks of past Enuff Z'Nuff albums, especially the early stuff. It's got the old Enuff Z'Nuff catchy style sound that they were doing that I find to be so intoxicating, and probably you do too. I mean, I held up my stack of 26, you know, releases that they've put out, and that says something about the style of music that they create and that catchiness that, you know, sticks with me at least. And, you know, older tracks like Sanibel Island that I immediately caught as soon as I heard, and has made me go grab that album and pull it out. But all in all, I think Xtra Cherries is a solid album. It's a welcome addition to the catalog. I'm looking forward to sticking it right next to everything else. So in my opinion, long lives Enuff Z'Nuff. One of the most underrated bands of the glam metal era. Yes, I'm going to call them glam metal, whether you do or you do not. That's okay. That's our opinions, right? We get to do that. And so there you go. That is my review of the brand new Enuff Z'Nuff Xtra Cherries album. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Do mark your calendars for July 25th, 2025. And again, thank you to Cleopatra Records for sending me the CD in advance so that I can review it for all you guys out there. I enjoy getting these things early, promoting them for the bands, but also just so that you guys get to hear all this and know more about these albums up front. I've got to say, I looked up, did a little, you know, research on the album in advance, but I kind of found the same info over and over and over. So I gave you what I have, what I know, what I heard, and hopefully that tells you something great about the album, because I do think it's a great album and worth having it in your collection and in the catalog next to Enuff Z'Nuff. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.